The Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks finally face off in their 2026 NBA Summer League debut. And even though it was a 91-65 game win for the Nets, I did like what I saw for both teams. For the Brooklyn Nets, they are basically testing out their new young core. With most of the 2025 rookies starting their sophomore seasons, and new additions such as Mikel Jr., the Nets are trying to see what their young future looks like. For the New York Knicks, their future isn't really as relevant. They are the current champions of the NBA, and they already have a championship caliber roster. For the Knicks, this summer league is more for them to focus on finding smaller, younger pieces that could help fill out the roster and give much needed depth where the Knicks are lacking. For this video, it is just going to be my initial reactions. I did take a lot of notes, however, I really want to take some time to actually flesh out my thoughts. So I'm really going to talk about the specific players I thought that had standout performances for both sides of the game. Starting with the Brooklyn Nets, the first player we got to talk about is Mikel Jr. Brown Jr. is definitely an interesting prospect, being the 6th pick in the 2026 NBA draft. And he definitely had a lot of question marks coming into the Summer League and into the rest of this season with his lingering back injuries that sidelined him during his college season. That being said, Brown Jr. was looking good his first game back at the California Classic against the Warriors, where he put up a modest yet respectable 10 points, 4 assists, and shooting 40% from 3 at 5 attempts that game. That being said, this second game was looking a bit more rocky at the first half, only putting up 4 points in the first half and having streaks where he went pretty cold. From turnovers to misses to fouls, he was definitely struggling offensively. That being said, he was doing pretty well defensively, putting up 2 steals and a block this game, which was definitely impressive at 6'5". But what was really impressive was how Mikel Jr. finished the second half of this game, putting up an additional 16 points, shooting 50% from the field, 50% from 3, and 100% from the line, ending the game at 20 points and 3 assists. And what was really impressive was how the ways Mikel Jr. was getting his points, getting his assists, and getting his team involved, while also showing a lot of good defensive pressure and hustle. Genuinely, I think Mikel Jr. had a very good complete game. Perfect blend of offense and defense, showing the right kind of hustle, and showing a very unselfish way of playing the game. The next player we automatically have to talk about is Yegor Dwomyn. The 6'8" Russian phenom also put up 20 points tonight, while shooting 7 for 15 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the free throw line, putting up 2 assists and a block and a steal this game. There isn't much to say. Dwomyn just kind of continued his dominance from the California Classic, showing how he has developed his game, putting on more weight, attacking the rim. I've definitely talked a lot about that in a prior video. But yeah, Dwomyn's development is looking legitimate, and I'm very excited to see where it shows up in an actual regular season game. The next 2 players I'm going to kind of fire off is Chaney Johnson and Danny Wolf. Both of these players had very good games. Wolf was showing off his presence as an interior threat with the ability to space the floor at least 33% on relatively low efficiency, but decent for a forward and big man, while also still putting up decent amount of assists, showing some good defensive positioning. And yeah, Wolf just had a really good game himself. Only 9 points, but honestly, you can't ask for much more. Chaney Johnson was definitely a bright spot. I don't actually know where the Nets got him, but 11 points, 4 for 7 from the field, 1 for 1 from his only 3, and he was just a good connecting piece for this team. Moving on to the New York Knicks, there's only 2 players you really want to talk about, and that is Dadiet and Tyler Nickel. Dadiet actually was probably their best player today, putting up 20 points on 6 for 16 shooting 1 for 7 from 3, which isn't great, but doing perfect from his free throws, and putting up 7 rebounds on top of that. There was a lot of notes I did take on Dadiet. However, again, this is an initial reactions kind of video, so I'm not going to delve too much into my notes until I make an actual Knicks video based off of the Summer League. However, I do think Dadiet's performance was really good and very deserving of a roster spot. At 6'9", and with this kind of performance, he's just an ideal 3rd or 4th string forward that you can add to this roster that needs much needed depth when staggering the minutes of Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. The player I was most interested in, though, was Tyler Nickel. He was the second round pick of the New York Knicks this year, who was a 6'6 forward that basically had comparisons to Duncan Robinson, so someone who was going to space the floor, and pretty much that's all he can do. And now again, that might not be the most exciting player to hear of, just kind of a 6'6 forward that can't really do much else besides space. At the end of the day, that is still one of the most important roles any role player can bring to a team, let alone a championship caliber one. And Tyler Nickel did not disappoint. 18 points, shooting 6 for 11 from the field, and 6 of 10 from the three-point line. 60% shooting from deep on a forward at 10 attempts is insane. And again, it's a summer league, so defenses aren't as tight. However, you got to realize that Tyler Nickel on this Knicks team is not going to be the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or even sixth option on this team. He's going to be a role player that comes in and drains a few threes. And with great playmakers such as Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Karl Anthony Towns, there is plenty of opportunities for Nichols to get an open three. So yeah, I do think the Knicks are finding hidden gems that can be great rotational pieces for many years to come, let alone in this potential repeat. For Brooklyn Nets fans, you gotta be very excited at the young backcourt duo that is developing right before your very eyes, and the other young rotational pieces that are going to develop alongside them. The chemistry looked great, and everything looks good if it can translate to the regular season. And if you want to hear more about Yegor Dwoman's performance in the California Classic, where he put up 23 points in both games he showed up in, definitely check out the video here. Or here. One of the two.